Good day, family. How are you today? This is Bob coming to you with some good information I'd like to share. I've come across this in my research. I'm continually doing research, just curious. I'm just a curious person, but endeavoring to be more discerning because it's like going to a Luby's or a Golden Corral or some other type of cafe whereby there's a bunch of food and you know you should eat it, so you have to pick and choose what's useful, and maybe even some of the food you may have to chew some of it and spit some of it out. Doing the same thing with this information. Came across this wonderful article about potassium iodide. And for some of you who do not know, potassium iodide is a supplement that is very beneficial to the body, and I find out some very historically interesting facts. But let's start out first with potassium iodide. There's several reasons to increase the dosage of potassium iodide. Okay, I guess for starters we need to say that most Americans are extremely deficient in potassium iodide. We don't get enough of it. We need to eat more or consume more potassium iodide. Ideally it came from seafood and some of the diet, and there are some vegetables that can increase potassium iodide, but with regards to increasing it from supplements, we know that it's very important for the proper functioning of the body, including the tissue. When you have a deficiency of potassium iodide, that could affect your breast, your pancreas, your salivary glands, brain, stomach, adrenal glands, skin, and cerebral and spinal fluid. This deficiency can cause dry mouth, dry skin, reduced alertness, can even increase cancer risks in your breast, prostate, and ovaries, brain fog, fibromyalgia, fibrocystic in your breasts, and many other maladies. Just know that we can tolerate large doses of potassium iodide. However, some people are sensitive, and for that I recommend that you go to your doctor if there's any issue with potassium iodide. And just for disclaimers purposes, this is not a medical diagnosis or treatment. It's for informational purposes only. I always recommend that you consult with your physician for any medical problems. So with that said, let's move forward. High doses of potassium iodide can be helpful against antibiotic-resistant infections, as well as antibiotic-resistant fungal and yeast infections. Iodine's role in the health is not well understood, first of all. So your doctor is probably not going to be the last source. You're going to have to do research on your own, which I'm doing to help you. But I recommend that everyone check out the sources for themselves. Don't believe me. Be discerning. Go to that buffet and only pick what you need. Throw the rest away. We know that iodine makes up more than 1/2 of the body's immune defenses. Know that potassium iodide or iodine consumption in the American diet has fallen more than 50% in the past 30 years. In the 1940s, iodine consumption was around 800 micrograms, let's say roughly around 1 milligram per day. And in 1995, potassium or iodide consumption was around 155 micrograms. So let's say that that's like 1/10 of a milligram per day. So roughly speaking, it's been somewhere around 80 to 90% decline in iodide consumption in the average American diet. This is terrible. Prior to Fukushima, we're going to touch on Fukushima briefly here in this brief video here. The Japanese consumed 89 times more iodide than Americans, and of course they had the lowest cancer rates in the world. Once again, this is pre-Fukushima. Toxic halides, fluorides, bromides have a similar structure. So with the proliferation of all these chemicals in our environment, some have theorized that the overabundance of these chemicals or toxins have blocked the uptake of iodide in the body, which could be true. But I think there's also an overall lowering of the consumption of iodine. We need to increase it, it seems. These toxins can bind with the body and block the uptake of the good iodine in your body. So we found that in the 1930s, the usual dosage for the beneficial treatment, back up here, iodine used to be prescribed by physicians in the 30s and earlier as a general treatment for health. So if you had a problem, you would go to a doctor, he would say, hey, you need to take more iodine. Now, it's not that. It's something else, probably some patented pharmaceutical drug. But once again, you have to go to your doctor whenever you're making a medical decision. But in the 1930s, the usual dosage for treatment that a doctor would give you if you had a problem that required iodine in treatment would be somewhere around 300 milligrams, which would be equivalent to around 46 drops of full-strength Luogos, which is this particular product here. We sell at menherbals.com. Menherbals.com. This is Luogos iodine solution. So that's full strength, up to 1 gram or 154 drops. So they were giving a lot of this particular product to help heal people with a lot of different issues. Well, it's recommended that 12.5 milligrams to 50 milligrams, or 2 drops to 5 drops per day for several months be given to someone who's deficient in iodine. So if you're feeling bad, then you might want to try some Luogos. If you're feeling some of the illnesses or some of the problems like dizziness and the like, you may be deficient in iodine. I'm not sure, but definitely something we need to investigate. Start with 1 drop in a glass of distilled water and then work your way up to 4 drops and see how you feel. If you have any type of medical or reaction like maybe a rash or something, you may want to stop and call your doctor. Start slowly and work your way up. Getting on to Fukushima. Some of you have heard of it, some of you haven't. But Fukushima is the worst industrial accident that has ever occurred in the history of man. It is a terrible tragedy, and potassium iodide can be beneficial in blocking the uptake of radioactive iodide into your thyroid gland in your brain. So in addition to all the medicinal benefits of potassium iodide, it also has a blocking benefit against radiation, which I would also recommend you to investigate Fukushima, because it's impacting our lives today, and we need to do things to ensure our health. And we can defeat it. As Bob Marley said, I love his words, have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them can stop the time. And for other radiation type treatments, like I said, investigate. A lot of the illnesses that are going to occur are due to radiation. And look into bitter apricot pits and other alternative medicines instead of just going to the doctor and having them cut you open or giving you some type of patented drug. So with that, you can contact me at menherbals.com. menherbals.com, and once again, potassium iodide, we sell it at the website, so give us a shout, and we'd like to hear your comments below. Thank you, and with love and gratitude, I'm out. Baba Unk, one more time, love and gratitude. I wish you the best health. I want you to be the best person that you can be. All right.